Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back here with the future once again to another retro showcase and review. And I posted up a picture under my community tab lately that I said I was going to do a showcase and review, a retro showcase and review coming up over a 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original action figure by Playmates. If anybody doesn't know about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Playmates line, one of my favorite lines as a kid and one of my favorite lines to this day. It started in 1988, ran up till about 1997, whenever the next mutation line came in that they started running, and up till 99 they did re-releases of the ones released until 97 up till 99. And they still do the TMNT figures to this day, Playmates does. But yeah, the original line, one of my favorites. I collected them as a kid and I had a ton of them. As an adult collector, I had not picked up any retro TMNT figures for my collection, but now my friend Picker Randy sold this to me for pretty dang cheap. I think it was only $5. He sold it to me. I have the card and packaging, but April was loose. Obviously, it's April O'Neil that I'm going to be showing off, and this is the second version from 1990. They did a version of her in 1988, which they did a few different paint decos on. I will explain that in a minute here, but it's going to be cool to take a look at this Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure. A lot of the figures from this line were based, and sometimes loosely based, on the cartoon that started in 1987. Obviously based on Eastman and Laird's comics. It was the Fred Wolf animated series, which I'm a huge fan of. I loved it as a kid and still do to this day. But this is the second variation of April O'Neil that they released for the TMNT line back then. And I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed lately, dropped any comments, left any feedback. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time viewing, make sure you do all that I just mentioned. And I hope everybody likes this retro showcase and review of the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles April O'Neil action figure by Playmates. Let's check it out. Okay, so here we have the April O'Neil 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure by Playmates. And as you can see here, the original figure, and this is actually mint in package. It was loose in his car when he gave it to me, but he said it was inside the clamshell, inside the packaging when he got it. He could not find the other part, so I could seal her on the card. I took actually double-sided tape and put this part back on the card because if you use double-sided tape, it doesn't really ruin the integrity of the card. You use a glue or something to try to put a bubble back on a card. A lot of times it can soak through to the back, but it's awesome to have the actual card back. You can see it was unpunched and it was mint on card. He said this fell off and then it ended up sitting around in his car. So it looks like there might be a little bit of a paint scuff there from rolling around in his car maybe, but other than that, it is a mint, never before played with by any kid or anything from the past. Second variation of April O'Neil. Now the original variation that was made in 1988 had a different head sculpt. She had a complete yellow suit, I think with white boots it was, if I'm correct, or yellow boots, I can't remember. And also there was a variation that had a blue stripe going down the side that was more cartoon accurate. But this right here, you can see they gave orange accents to, and blue striping also. So orange and blue, detailing, and orange boots, and orange belt, orange on the sleeves and the collar there. And then she has turtles on the back because she was the Turtles' main woman. I always liked April O'Neil as a kid too. A lot of times, the female characters are kind of boring to the guys and stuff, and to the young kids. But I thought April was always a cool character because she just helped out the Turtles. And then the 1990 movie was around the time that this was released. And this is supposed to be a more cartoon accurate head sculpt than the original. So April was really cool in the 1990 movie too. So I was an April fan, believe it or not. I'm a fan of all the Turtles and stuff, but I always lean towards the non-Turtle figures as some of my favorite figures. I had them all as a kid. And we're going to get to look at some of the cool non-turtle figures here on the back too as they show it. You can see the pegs underneath on the feet. And just nice detailing that was made on these original figures, in my opinion. Real cartoonish looking, obviously, to fit in, you know, with the look of the other figures, as you'll see here on the back. But a lot of figures these days tried to tie right in with the TMNT. As you can see over here, my Bucky O'Hare figures, she fits right alongside those guys. Like, she could be, you know, in their crew. So that's just a little bit of a example of how everything was trying to be kind of like the TMNT figures back in that day, in that era. Those were released in '91, by the way, so a year after this second wave of turtle figures. So cool to have the second variation. I don't think I ever had her. I think I had the solid yellow with the blue stripe, as I said. And then she has her weapons pack here. And on the back here, it gives us a little listing of what each thing is. The camcorder gun. It says focus and fire. I don't know how good it's going to... Like, he had this in his car, too, so it's obviously gotten nicked up, and it wasn't the greatest card to begin with, he said. But it says accessories close up. The femme fatale details of April O'Neil. Camcorder gun, focus and fire, as you can see there. I'm not going to bust these off the weapons rack. I'm going to leave the weapons rack intact. Hopefully you can find that inner shell, and maybe I can put her back in the plastic. There's the computer briefcase. And it says underneath there, the cleverly concealed CompuCase. And then the Ninja Star for spur-of-the-moment battles. But also her pistol is there, too. They don't even really mention. They do mention her camcorder gun, but they don't mention just the single pistol here. And then the microphone for instant interviews there. And, oh, you gotta love it, the old pizza points, excuse me. I'm a huge fan of pizza, so I always loved that they did pizza points and that the turtles love pizza. That's why I think Michelangelo was one of my favorite turtles, because he loved pizza more than any of them. But there's the star. There's the computer briefcase there. A little bit of detailing there, trying to make it look a little bit technical. And the gun could slide into the camera, and that was the handle for the camera. So it looked like she was, like, you know, undercover there with her pistol. As you can see the pistol there too. All the weapons in TMNT back then were just solid colors. And hers were all in solid gray. But you snapped it off the rack there. But sweet to have the full weapon rack intact. And April here. And one of the funny features on this is they actually did like a ton. Not only did they do a ton of different card backs for this, and like at least 11 different variations this guy I seen on YouTube. I should have remembered his name, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but like 11 different variations of card backs for this figure, and there's even like a few different variations of the figure itself. One of the variations they did, as you can see there, it says press above her left breast there. They ended up removing that because I guess they didn't want kids to think that that was a feature and like you did something to press her breast area. They thought that was kind of inappropriate, so the press logo was actually taken off of this figure and released without that honor. So I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, there's tons of different card backs. One released with a medallion. And the card backs themselves, I always love these old card backs, but let's take a look at the card back now close up. You got April O'Neil up there firing her gun off. Then you got her over here to the right, you know, with her wireless microphone, by the way, and her turtle computer briefcase. And then the awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. I mean, these just really popped on the shelves with a bunch of these sitting there. Heroes in a half shell. This was the version that had that on. Some of them say just April O'Neil there. Then you have, this is the version that has April O'Neil with her weapon, gun, camcorder. Some of them just had a turtle shell there without that written in. And April O'Neil was written over the top of the bubble there. Like I said, I retaped this with double tape onto there so you can get a better look. You can see some of the actual cardboard is showing in there. It was hard to do because this card is so bent up. But I think I did a pretty decent job on getting it up there. I at least lined up the top there And then it's close enough on the sides there, but you see April holding her camcorder gun there. Awesome illustration. And these illustrations do not look like anything that they looked like really in the cartoons, especially on the early ones. So she's not like exactly what her cartoon looked like there. Although this one's more accurate to the cartoon than the originals for sure. Then you got that Burst logo in the middle, just busting through that brick wall there. I always love the brick wall accents on the back of these cards. Ages 4 and up. And down to the right there you got Playmates. A little messed up there where I had to replace the bubble too. Amazing arm movement, it says. Deluxe weapons assortment. But yeah, I was happy to get the bubble back on there. First he just gave me the card back and it was missing like the heroes in the half shell, and part of April was missing and everything, because you can see there that complete part is on the bubble. So it was all pulled off. But now that I have that back, now we can see heroes in the half shell and, you know, everything that was going on there. So pretty cool. So yeah, double-sided tape's probably the best thing to use to get one back on. If I could find the other inner shell too, I'd probably just put April back in there and try to display this thing somehow, because it is unpunched as well. But going to the back is the big deal of this, in my opinion, because you see all the older figures from the line. And it says, catch all the wacky action turtles. You have Wacky Walking Mouser, Sword Slicing Leonardo, Slice and Dice Shredder, Sewer Swimming Donatello, Rock and Roll Michelangelo, Creepy Crawling Splinter, and Break Fighting Raphael, which is cool. Sword Slicing Leonardo. Okay, and then we have We're Looking for a Few Good Mutants. You see here, these are the good guys in the line. Pretty sweet. You got Mondo Gecko, Mike the Sewer Surfer, so some versions of the Turtles. They did so many different versions of the Turtles. Leo the Sewer Samurai, Don the Undercover Agent, Ray Fillet, Donatello with his storage shell, which they did later, for the later Nicktoon series. They did some more storage shell ones and variations kind of that harkened back to this series. Raph the Space Cadet, Panda Khan, who is one of my favorites, Napoleon Bonafrog, Fugitoid, Wingnut and Screwloose, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, just the standard original figures. And then down here is Leonardo. Hopefully that's coming in, focusing okay. Like I said, the card back's pretty damaged up and scuffed up. Then you have Splinter, Master Splinter, April O'Neil there, second version. Usagi Yojimbo, one of my favorites, who was also, him and Panda Khan actually appeared in different comics. Usagi Yojimbo and Panda Khan were different characters. Then you have Ace Duck, one of my other favorites, Metalhead. I always liked Ace Duck too. I think he was only appeared in the cartoon series as a cartoon on TV, like, or something. It was weird. And then Casey Jones over here, also one of my favorites. Had him as a kid. And Genghis Frog. So very cool. And then the Hey Kids Want to Take Over the World. You had the Foot Clan affiliated figures. Really cool. Pizza Face, Triceraton, Slash, he was badass, Scumbug, Mutagen Man, Muckman and Joe Eyeball. That's a really cool one. I had all these as a kid. Baxter Stockman, the classic villain. Then Leatherhead there. Then Krang and his android walker body, instead of like his big, like, you know, actual android, huge android body, just like a walker there. Rat King, one of my favorite villains from the original series. General Trag, Rocksteady, and then Bebop to the left there, the Foot Soldier in the middle. The Foot Soldiers always looked crazy to me in the series, and then when the movie came out, they looked so different. And then there's Shredder. And speaking of that, they did release a few lines that had to do with the movie, so you did get a Foot Soldier from the movie line, a Shredder from the movie line, even a Super Shredder from Secret of the Ooze. Then down here is the portrait of April O'Neil. And it says, April's a determined TV news journalist, always prepared for the late-breaking news feature with her camcorder strapped around her arm. Her eagerness, however, gets her into trouble and makes her a big pain in the shell for the turtles, who always end up saving the damsel in distress. Still, April's no airhead and is a valuable member of the turtle team. Being a pretty human has its advantages, like getting into places the turtles can't. When the situation calls for more than a news flash, April's ready with a trusty gun, which is secretly locked inside her camcorder. So there you go. It also says that her accessories are a camcorder, gun, wireless microphone, TMNT portable computer, and a Ninja Star. She is birthplaced in the Valley, height 5'5", weight 115 pounds, age a young 25. And then it says she is a TV news reporter and Turtles' #1 fan and #1 team member as well. Product of China, package printed in Hong Kong. You got the Playmates logo over there, the pizza points, all your warnings and labels and everything. Don't eat 'em, redeem 'em. I like how it says that. 50-cent postage and handling for your Pizza Point catalog to Pizza Point Catalog, P.O. Box, blah, 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 Schaumburg, Illinois. I'm from Illinois. Oh, yeah, and then you had the accessories close-up, which I showed. So there is the backing of it. And, yeah, so there's the card. And like I said, we've already taken a pretty good look at April 2 and her weapons rack. So in my opinion, that's going to have to do it for this retro showcase and review. I hope I can get a hold of more retro turtle figures. Haven't had the money lately, but maybe for Christmas I'll try to pick up some more off eBay. I really don't care if they have the weapons or not, really, in my opinion. That's the kind of collector I'm kind of like, want to start out with at least the figure in my collection. So maybe I'll pick some more up. And yeah, if I could find the inner shell of this, I might put her back in. But for now, she's going to display up alongside Bucky O'Hare and all them over there where I was showing you. But really happy to have this 1990 Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles April O'Neil action figure from 1990. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below, and give me a like if you like what you see. And yeah, guys, until next time, I want to say cowabunga, and as always, peace out. Turtle power.